Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and today I want to show you how to make the double crochet. Okay, first I'm going to make a slip knot, and you know how to do this now, and the chains. So here I'm going to chain 12 because I'm going to make 12 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is the 12 chains. As I mentioned last time, we can never make a stitch into that very first chain. It's because the loop on our hook is in that chain. So for the double crochet, we need to add 2 extra more chains for the base chains. So I'm going to chain 2 more, so that's a total of 14 chains, and then into the 4th chain from the hook. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to use the back ridge of that chain. So let's make our first double crochet. I'm going to yarn over once and into the back ridge of the 4th chain from the hook. I'm going to insert my hook like this, yarn over, and pull it through that back ridge of that chain. So now I've got 3 loops on my hook. And then yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. And now I got 2 loops on my hook, and then yarn over again and pull it through the last 2 loops on the hook. So this is our first double crochet. So the 3 chains here, as you can see, will be counted as our first double crochet too. So this is counted as a stitch. So let's make our second double crochet. Yarn over once, insert your hook into the back ridge of that chain, yarn over and pull it through the back ridge. I've got 3 loops on my hook, so yarn over and pull it through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over again and pull it through the next 2 loops. So you've got 3 double crochets now because we're going to count these 3 chains as our double crochet. So let's do it again. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, into the back ridge of that chain, yarn over and pull it through the back ridge. I've got 3 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull it through the 2 loops, yarn over and pull it through the next 2 loops. And let's do it again. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain's back ridge, yarn over and pull it through. I've got 3 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull it through the first 2 loops, and yarn over and pull it through the next 2 loops. Now I got 1 loop on my hook, and I'm going to do that all the way across. And we'll see the difference between making your stitches into the back ridge of the foundation chains after this first row of double crochets. So it really takes some practice, and the technique here is to keep your loops within the gauge of your crochet hook. Okay, I'm going to insert my hook in there. As you can see, all my loops are within the gauge of my crochet hook. So I got one more back ridge here. As I mentioned, we don't make a stitch into the slip knot. That is our slip knot. So let's take our crochet hook off and let's see what we have made here. So let's count our double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we count this as our 12 double crochets. As you can see, now that we have made our stitches into the back ridge, and therefore we have maintained the two loops that creates that V-shaped chains at the bottom of the stitch. As you can see here, this one I made my stitch into the top loops of that chain, and you can see the difference. So here you can see the bottom loop and the back ridge. Here you can see the top loops and the bottom loops. So it would be your preference which method you want to use. I personally like this. It seems is more stretchful than when using the top loops only. And it looks nice. So not to get confused now, because the top of the double crochet as well is the same as what's in the bottom. As you can see, this chain loop stitch here is going that way, and the bottom one is going that way, and you won't get confused because your yarn end is by here. So at the moment we are facing the front because our yarn end is on the left. So let's put a crochet hook back into the loop. As I mentioned, make sure that the working yarn is at the front of your crochet hook, like this. So to proceed, I'm going to chain 3, and then I'm going to turn. So this chain 3 here will be counted as a stitch. So that means we don't need to make a stitch on this very first stitch here. We're going to make our next double crochet into the next stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook in there. Make sure you are taking the 2 loops, all parts of that loop, as you can see. Yarn over and pull it through. The same way, I've got 3 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull it through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull it through the next 2 loops. And you're going to do it again, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull it through, yarn over and pull it through 2 loops, yarn over and pull it through the next 2 loops. And I'm going to do that again, and all the way across. And at the end of this row, we should have 12 double crochets, including the chain 3 at the beginning. Okay. So as you can see here, this stitch here is not the last stitch. Let's count our stitches here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's only 11 because this chain here is counted as our stitch. So when you make a stitch into the top of that chain, make sure you take 2 of that 2 loops of that chain. So what I meant with that is that don't take just 1 like that. Make sure you take 2. See, I'm taking the back ridge and the top loops. You can see there's 2 loops. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull it through. Then yarn over, pull it through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull it through 2 loops. So make sure that if you have 12 here, your next row should be 12 as well if you want to keep your sides straight. So we're going to do that again on the 3rd row. So remember, this 2nd row is the back of our work. It's because our yarn end is right here on the right side. So we're going to make our next row at the front. So I'm going to chain 3 first, like what I did here. And then I'm going to turn this way. And this will be counted as our first double crochet. So we're not going to make a stitch into the first stitch here from previous row. And we're going to make our first double crochet into the next stitch. So the reason why I'm showing you the 3rd row as well is for you to see the very last stitch, which is the chain stitch in the previous row, because this one is the beginning of the row, the chain 3, and I want to show you how to make your double crochet on top of the 3rd chain. So I'm getting faster here, a little bit faster, but it would be just the same. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over and pull it through. I've got 3 loops on my hook. I'm keeping the gauge, I'm keeping the loops within the gauge of my crochet hook. Yarn over and pull it through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull it through the next 2 loops. And I'm going to do that all the way across. So you think that this is the last stitch, but it's not, because this particular stitch here is the top of this double crochet. And remember, we have made this as our, counted as our first double crochet. So we need to make a stitch there too. As you can see, turning your work like this way, it makes the chain here facing you, so it's easy to make a stitch. Here I'm going to take the top loops and the back ridge, so I've got 2 loops there. So that's the back ridge here, and then this one is a top loop. And there you have it. This is the double crochet. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. This is the double crochet.